Let's talk about what is happening right now in Georgia, because it tells a much bigger story about what's happening across the country. Donald Trump's approval numbers are collapsing, and nowhere is that more obvious than in key swing states like Georgia. One poll has him underwater by double digits, another still shows him negative. And these aren't just abstract numbers on a screen. These numbers represent real people, real families, and real consequences tied directly to policy decisions and broken promises. Donald Trump ran on one central economic promise, that he would bring prices down, that life would get easier, that Americans would finally get some relief. Instead, what people are experiencing is the opposite. Prices are still high, costs are rising, and now healthcare, one of the most basic needs, is being ripped away from people who were barely hanging on to begin with. Let's be very clear about what's happening with healthcare in Georgia. Affordable Care Act subsidies that kept insurance within reach for hundreds of thousands of Georgians are expiring. Not because they had to, not because Congress couldn't act, but because Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans chose not to extend them. And when those subsidies disappear, the impact is immediate and brutal. People are opening their insurance portals and watching their premiums double, triple, even quadruple overnight. In some cases, costs are increasing sevenfold, 7 times higher, for people who are sick, for people battling cancer, for elderly parents caring for their children, for small business owners who took a risk because they finally had health coverage. One woman saw her premium jump from a few $100s to nearly $4,000 a month. Her daughter is fighting brain cancer. That family is not looking for political talking points. They are looking for survival. And what they're being told implicitly is good luck, you're on your own. And this is happening while the House of Representatives literally went on vacation. Let that sink in. As these subsidies expire, as families panic, as people lose coverage, the Speaker of the House shut the chamber down to avoid a vote that could have extended help. A discharge petition was signed. Republicans crossed party lines. The votes were there. And instead of allowing democracy to function, leadership shut the lights off and walked away. That is not governing. That is cruelty by design. And Georgia is feeling it everywhere, not just in healthcare, but in agriculture, the backbone of the state's economy. Agriculture supports 1 in 7 jobs in Georgia. Farmers are dealing with skyrocketing input costs, unstable markets, and the lingering damage of Trump's tariff policies. Farmers didn't want aid. They wanted trade. They wanted predictability. Instead, they got chaos, followed by temporary bailouts that didn't reach everyone and didn't solve the underlying problem. Half of American farms are expected to turn a profit this year. That means half won't. Families who've worked land for generations are running out of equity, running out of options, and running out of time. And while farmers worry about next season, while families worry about next month, Donald Trump is doing something else entirely. He's attacking critics on social media. He's posting angry rants. He's lashing out at religious leaders. He's sleeping through meetings. He's watching cable news. And he's enriching himself. That's the part we cannot normalize. In just the past day, Trump announced a merger involving his media company, a company that loses money quarter after quarter, with a private fusion energy firm that requires government approval. The announcement sends stock prices soaring. Trump benefits, his family benefits. Meanwhile, the people of Georgia are asking how they're supposed to pay their electric bill. Donald Trump recently gave himself an A++++ rating on the economy. And in a way, he's telling the truth for himself. He has never been wealthier. His family has never been more financially secure. This presidency has been extraordinarily good to him personally. But for everyone else, this has been a massive transfer of wealth upward. Tax cuts for billionaires, tariffs that act like taxes on everyday goods, higher utility bills, higher insurance premiums, less competition, less security.
And remember this, Donald Trump openly told oil and gas executives that if they gave him $1 billion, he would give them a good return on their investment. He said it out loud, and now we're seeing the consequences. Green energy projects, cheaper energy, are being pulled off the grid. Investments that could have lowered costs are being reversed, and the result is predictable: higher bills for working families. This isn't accidental, it's policy. And the House Speaker enabling it? He cloaks himself in religious language while sending Congress home as people suffer. But here's the truth: public policy is moral policy. Values become real when they affect people's lives. And when healthcare is denied, when food becomes unaffordable, when families are crushed under the weight of decisions made in Washington, that's not abstract, that's moral failure. People don't get a vacation from medical bills. They don't get a vacation from cancer. They don't get a vacation from choosing between rent and insurance. And yet the leadership walked away. This is why Georgia is changing. Just weeks ago, a deeply Republican state House district flipped blue, a district Democrats had lost by nearly 40 points just a year earlier. That doesn't happen because of messaging. That happens because people are hurting, because reality cuts through propaganda eventually. Despite all of this, something remarkable is happening. The American people are not breaking. This era was designed to exhaust us, to flood the zone, to normalize corruption, to convince us that nothing matters and nothing can change. Despair is being weaponized intentionally through chaos, fear, division, and the constant suggestion that resistance is pointless. But people are still standing. Institutions have bent, some leaders capitulated, some corporations folded, but ordinary people, workers, patients, caregivers, farmers, teachers, they didn't give up. And that's why this moment matters. This season, for many faiths, is a season of light. And even for those who don't identify with a religious tradition, the idea still resonates. Light persists. Darkness doesn't win by being loud. It wins only if people stop showing up. History tells us this story over and over again. We've faced strongmen before. We've faced corruption before. We've faced brutality under the color of law before. And progress was never guaranteed. It was fought for. Think of those who marched when the odds were impossible. Think of those who crossed bridges knowing they might not make it to the other side. They didn't win because it was easy. They won because they kept walking. That's where we are now. The fight isn't glamorous. It's not clean. It's exhausting, but it's necessary. And it doesn't belong to one party or one leader. It belongs to people who refuse to accept that cruelty is normal. Georgia is sending a message. So are farmers. So are patients, opening insurance bills in disbelief. The message is simple. Enough. Enough broken promises. Enough self-dealing. Enough governing for the few at the expense of the many. This country doesn't belong to billionaires and cable news hosts. It belongs to people trying to live decent lives. And despite everything thrown at them, they're still here. Still standing, still fighting. Don't give up. Don't give in. Straighten your back. Move toward one another, not against one another. We've crossed bridges before, and we will again.